This week at Restore, we continued our series called Sermon on the Mount, which is a look at this longest and most robust teaching from Jesus. It's also the teaching that really undergirds everything else he says and does during his time on earth. This morning we looked at this kind of famous section where Jesus says, "Do not judge, lest you be judged. For in the same way you judge others, you will be judged. In the same measure you use to judge others, it will be measured to you." So he goes on to say how important it is that we move away from oppressive religion and move into the way of Jesus. He talks about this idea that many of us have a log in our eyes, but we're way more concerned with the speck in someone else's eye. And so I want to lay out quickly the differences between oppressive religion and the way of Jesus. So check these out with me. See, oppressive religion is all about having power for the few, but the way of Jesus is about freedom for the many. Oppressive religion is about this top-down structure, but the way of Jesus is that the first shall be last. Oppressive religion controls through guilt and shame, but the way of Jesus abolishes guilt and shame. Oppressive religion excludes anyone that it can, but the way of Jesus includes everyone. Oppressive religion pushes people down. The way of Jesus lifts people up. Oppressive religion is complicit in slavery and marginalization. The way of Jesus fights against those things. And then finally, oppressive religion judges everyone else's shortcomings, but the way of Jesus examines our own shortcomings. See, in the way of Jesus, we don't just project that all the problems are out there, someone else's fault, and if we just eliminate them, everything will be okay. The way of Jesus is introspective. It understands that in this fallen world, we are all part of problems, and that, therefore, means we should all be a part of the solutions. And so Jesus gives us this solution, this thing that we're supposed to do. And he uses this metaphor of having a cross beam, this huge industrial piece of wood blinding us and being so concerned instead about the speck in someone else's eye. And he instructs us, take the log, the plank out of your own eye. Worry less about the speck in someone else's eyes. And it really is this process we talk all the time about here at Restore called deconstruction and reconstruction. Deconstruction is taking that log out, removing ourselves from oppressive religion, putting the lies that we've believed away and exchanging them in reconstruction for the truth, for the way of Jesus, for the way that we are supposed to interact and engage with the world. Now, a lot of this is stuff that we know intuitively, that we know as human beings, that we're supposed to be kind, that we're supposed to care for people, that we're supposed to include others. But I think that a lot of times we struggle with actually including ourselves in this calling, in this process. That we have to be active in partnering with Jesus to remove the plank from our eyes so that we can better engage with the world around us. So as we do that, I want to leave you with this quote it's one of my very favorite quotes from a pastor and theologian named Carlos Rodriguez in Puerto Rico. He says, as soon as you draw a line to exclude people, Jesus goes to the other side of that line with them and invites you to join him there every time. So remember that Jesus is on the side of the oppressed, of the marginalized, but he invites us to join him on that side. You see, the good news of Jesus is not just good news for the oppressed, it's also good news for the oppressor. Because we, all of us, are shackled by the brokenness, by the pain, by the fallenness of our world. And Jesus came to bring freedom to it all. But we are not able to be used in that mission of restoration, that process of bringing freedom to everyone, if we don't do the hard work of removing the lies that we've believed, removing the barriers, the blindness in our own eyes, so that we can then enter into the way of Jesus. So let me leave you this morning with one quick encouragement. In the next passage, Jesus says that we are to ask and seek and knock, that we are to pursue him. And if we do, he promises to open doors, to be with us, to walk through this difficult process of deconstruction and reconstruction alongside of us so that we can experience freedom in him ourselves and bring freedom to others. So I encourage you, challenge you to step into that this week.